So this is a controversial video. Ooh, yes, it's one of those, controversial. Okay, so why is it controversial? Okay, well, it's controversial because I am a 60-year-old male and it is 2026. And, you know, I'm living in an era, or an era, depending on where you're from, that is much different to that I was, you know, raised in or brought up in, into which I was taught when I was taught how to be a man or what it is to be a man. And so today, you know, there's a lot of political correctness. We can't say this, we can't say that, you know, or we become cancelled. A lot of men are literally tiptoeing around. They don't know what they're supposed to say, how they're supposed to act, me included often. I think the last time I opened a door for a woman, I was told, "You don't need to open that door for me, I can do it myself." So, you know, will I be opening any more doors for females? You know, the thing is how do we act? Should we change or should we not change? Subjective, right? Anyway, so I'm what you'll call a man's man, but, you know, I've learned, you know, to respect equality, and certainly, you know, if there's love in your life, you know, and there's women in your life that you love, you know, whether it, you know, be, you know, a mother, a partner, a lover, a wife, spouse, a sibling, you know, a friend, you know, if there's a female, you know, I'm talking about if you're a male and there's a female in your life that you love, you shouldn't have any trouble, you know, respecting, you know, I don't know if I can say it anymore, the lesser sex, the weaker sex. I don't know if you can say it anymore. You probably can't. I'm probably going to be cancelled right now. I'm not even finished the video. But I've certainly got respect for women, you know. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, a relationship, a partnership, a business, a ship has to have one captain. You know, there's a reason why we don't have 10 presidents or 10 prime ministers. There has to be someone right at the very top that's accountable, someone that can be fired if you like, someone that can be responsible. You know, how do you hold someone responsible when there's 10 people that are all saying, it was him, it was her? People love to blame. People don't like to be accountable, right? So you can't blame anyone if you're at the top. So there's a triangle, you know, power and decision, if you like, is delegated. But, you know, in the end, there's always going to be one person, or one body, if you like, but one person is how I like to look at it, is responsible, especially in a relationship or a ship, okay? The captain. Or an aeroplane, the captain. Okay? Right. So how I've gone through life, or how I've, you know, been in relationships, my relationships is I want debate, I want opinion, I want conversation, you know, I want support, right? I want, you know, assurance. But at the end of the day, I want to be the one to make the decision, because at the end of the day, I've always felt that I'm the one who's responsible. I've certainly always been the one that's got blame when things didn't go right. And, you know, that don't feel good when you let someone else, you know, make the decision, an important decision, and maybe it was a decision you didn't want to make, but you let your, you know, say your better half or your important half, you know, your partner, your lover, your wife, you know, make a different decision to you, make a different move, and it all blew up in your faces, and then you get blamed for it when you really didn't want them, you know, to go that way anyway. Okay, right? So how I like to do it, you know, ideal, and this is how the Bible says it, by the way. Okay, And if you want, affirmation, if you want a life guidebook, then what better is there than the Bible? And that is that man is the ultimate power. So God, man, female, God, male, female, right? If we're talking about the Bible, Adam listened to Eve and look at that mess. Okay, so without sounding too, macho and masculine and, out of touch with the culture that we live today, is that my ideal for me, I'm not saying it's for you because some of you guys are really messed up, right? But for me is I want to be in a relationship where we have debate, we have a conversation, we try and work out a course of action, a plan, decision, what street are we going to follow, if you like. But at the end of the day, I get final say. Knowing that if it goes bang, I will and I am to blame. And I accept that. And I will not shrug the responsibility and blame them, you. It's on me. Okay, I did the best I could do at the time. That was the decision. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but someone's got to make a decision. And I think that responsibility should, at the end of the day, be with me. Right, now, apparently, I haven't researched it yet. I've just saw a clip it on the news, but apparently there was a survey of a large number of young men or growing men, and their attitudes have revealed to be far more what's the word, chauvinistic or less into equality than baby boomers. So Gen Z feel that the woman must obey the man. Where's that come from? The Bible, right? And it's the weaker sex, and men have a more of a leadership role. So wow, how about that? So what is that, full circle? So that's much more in line with how I see it. So without sounding male chauvinistic, without sounding like a character of yesteryear, I truly believe that men need to step up and be leaders. I think that some of us have lost our way with all this, equality. We've just took it to a level that's made it unhealthy, I think. I'm not talking about respect. There should always be respect in every single relationship. There's no such thing as no respect. That's wrong. That's abuse. But there needs to be a level of ownership. Men need to step up to a leadership platform, a leadership position, and that's where it seems that Gen Z are heading back to. All right? So good on you, Gen Z. So you were good for something after all.